My name's Jordan, and I'm here with the whole, well, not everyone. We don't have everyone from Pure Elliott Wave here, but we have all of our analysts right now from Pure Elliott Wave in the room. And we're going to be doing a little show for everyone where we're going to talk about our gold forecast as a team at Pure Elliott Wave, why we think it is going the direction we say, and then maybe our market outlook and how we actually view the markets. So maybe the YouTube audience and people in general to get a sense of what we do here at Pure Elliott Wave. But before we do that, let's go through one by one and just say a little bit about ourselves, starting maybe with Laura.
Okay, so I'm the original Pure Elliott Wave. I've been analysing markets for now 15 years on a daily basis, up to 5 markets a day, but at least one. And I've been a chartered market technician now for 10 years. So I started analysing markets in 2008, and currently I'm analysing the S&P 500 every day, and I do Bitcoin once a week, and I produce a lot of content, most of it cryptocurrency analysis, for our YouTube channel for our subscribers. I found, well, Jack is my son and I've been training him, and I found Jordan actually through the Pure Elliott Wave YouTube channel, and Jordan's been working with us for over 6 months now, I think. And so we're expanding our team and expanding the markets we can analyze. So that's me.
Well, I'm Jordan. You guys have probably seen a lot of me on the YouTube channel because I've been working full-time currently at Pure Elliott Wave. But I am about to finish my degree in economics, and I've been trading for just over 3 years now. The first 2 of those was using classical technical methods. I tried all sorts of different techniques, and then I found Elliott Wave a little more than a year ago, and then ever since then, I've made some crazy calls that haven't even been recorded here at Pure Elliott Wave, but it's definitely what I've decided to focus on moving forward. So I definitely want to be the best analyst I can here, and I plan to be here for much longer. So what about you, Jack?
I'm Jack. I have been training for technical analysis and Elliott Wave under Lara's tutelage since August, September 2022. Done a little bit for the YouTube channel and currently analyzing gold 5 times a week.
Great. Yeah, we actually have gold coming out. It'll be available to everyone very shortly here, and we're actually here to talk about our gold analysis outlook. But before we get into that, though, let's ask Lara, why have you chosen Elliott Wave as your primary method to forecast markets here at Pure Elliott Wave?
That's a good question. Why Elliott Wave? 2 main important reasons. Most technical analysis is necessarily backward looking because you're basing your analysis on past data, and most technical tools are based on averages of past data, so they're lagging indicators. But Elliott Wave is almost unique. Cycle analysis does this a little bit too, but Elliott Wave is very forward looking. The basic idea is markets move in patterns that can be defined by rules and Fibonacci mathematics. And if you can identify whereabouts you are in the pattern at the moment, then you can identify with a decent level of accuracy based on probability where the market is most likely to go next. So it's really forward looking, so it's really useful, right? The other reason, and this is one of the reasons I really like Elliott Wave so much, it's based on rules which are absolute. If a rule is broken, you know your analysis is wrong, and knowing when you're wrong is almost just as important as knowing when you're right. The best Elliott Wave analysis is always going to have more than one wave count. And I know when I produce content for the YouTube channel, sometimes I'm a bit lazy and I just give you one wave count and then I go to technical analysis and see, okay, what's the probability of this? If I'm doing it for my membership on a subscription basis, I'm going to have an alternate wave count so that if my main wave count is wrong and the rules are absolute, so I know exactly what price point I'm wrong, then we switch to the next level of probability, the alternate. And so Elliott Wave it's really, really helpful to allow a trader to pivot really quickly. Okay, that trade didn't work. cut my losses. This is the next most likely direction for price and how it should unfold. And now I can trade the next direction. So you know exactly what price point to do that at.
Yeah, I've actually found that to help me in my trading as well, which is why I've made it my primary method currently. Would you say Elliott Wave is accurate, and what are some strengths and weaknesses for that?
I would say Elliott Wave can be uncannily accurate, but that comes with a very strong caveat that it has to be done right. And I'm really meticulous. I like to have an eye on the bigger picture, but you also need to have an eye on the detail. And the thing about Elliott Wave is it's rules-based, and you need to learn those rules by heart. When I was training Jack and yourself as well, one of the things I told you guys is in my book, Pure Elliott Wave, I have a chapter where I list the rules and guidelines, all clearly laid out. And I asked you guys to read it once a day, every day, until you knew it by heart. So you were reading it once a day, every day, until you were really bored with it and probably not liking my direction there. But I think it's really important to know the rules by heart. I see too much rubbish online that breaks Elliott Wave rules. And if you're going to break the rules, your analysis is worse than useless. It's actually time wasting. And I don't know why people do it. Some of the reasons people give me are, oh, well, you know, things have changed since Elliott and markets change. And well, no, because Elliott Wave is based on human psychology. It's based on us as a social group, as a species. And I think if the COVID crash and the COVID lockdowns and how we behave then has taught us anything, it's that human nature actually hasn't changed much at all in 100 years. So I think you need to stick to Elliott's rules religiously, and your wave count should always meet them all the time. And if you want to change Elliott's rules, it needs to be based on research and data, not, oh, I think or I feel. So the other thing about Elliott Wave is it's complicated. It's difficult to do. It took me a few years before I really had a good solid understanding of it. And it's why I'm always supporting our other two analysts here every day. You need to have an eye for the right look. And you're not going to know what that is until you've been analyzing the same market on a regular basis for quite a long time, because each market is going to have its different little quirks. Commodities look different to cryptocurrencies, look different to indices, look different to equities or ETFs. They all have a different look. So you need to have an eye for the right look and understand your market that you're analyzing. And so putting all of that together, I was just thinking, I can't remember what it was I was writing, something about our upcoming gold launch. And I was trying to point out the reason why I'm getting Jack to do only one market a day. He's only going to be analyzing just gold once a day to start, because I really want him to continue to learn and grow and understand his market, and to not stretch him too thin, to make sure that he's got the time to spend to do it right.
Yeah, I'm doing the euro right now alone. That's my singular market, and I'm doing other stuff outside. But still, just doing the euro every day still takes me at least 2 hours to compile that report. So, I mean, it's a lot of work. We go really, really deep, in depth on the markets. If you haven't seen some of our text reports that we do every day, instead of just a sentence and a chart you get from some other services, we do a whole, like a paragraph on each chart. And we're doing like 12 charts a day. It's crazy for each market. So very in depth. So what would you say separates Pure Elliott Wave, now that we're talking about our competition, what would you say separates Pure Elliott Wave from any of the other Elliott Wave services out there?
I think the biggest separation from what I've seen is that we meet Elliott Wave rules. We understand Elliott Wave and we follow all the rules all the time. I was looking at another actually pretty big outfit, another Elliott Wave outfit today, who shall remain nameless. And I had a look at one of their little videos, and within 5 seconds, I saw they're breaking Elliott Wave rules, and they're charging quite a lot of money for this service. I don't understand why people do that. So I think that's one of the biggest differences between us and the opposition. But we also use a range of technical analysis tools, and this is because I'm a chartered market technician. And in those 3 years of reading all those books and doing all those exams, I learned a whole different range of technical analysis tools. And I came up with a small enough group of tools that work really well together, and I've taught Jack and Jordan both how to use these in conjunction with each other, that cover what you need to cover to give good support to our Elliott Wave analysis. A lot of Elliott Wave services out there will not have the depth of understanding that a CMT will have, and they won't be using a range of other technical analysis methods. So we've got like candlestick support and resistance, moving averages. We're looking at signals from on-balance volume. We look at volume analysis quite in depth. It needs to support the Elliott Wave count if it's going to make sense, ADX, RSI, money flow stochastics, and every now and then we'll bring in something else if I think we need to.
Great response there. All right, so let's jump into the specifics on gold. We have Jack here, the gold analyst for Pure Elliott Wave. So tell us about yourself and your service, Jack.
Well, as I said before, I've been studying Elliott Wave and technical analysis for the last 9 or so months, give or take. And I've been doing gold 5 times a week since at least, I'd say, the end of 2022. The service that I'm offering is written gold analysis 5 times a week with a video at the end of every week. It will be its own paid subscription, I think sometime in July. We're not entirely sure on the date, but we're getting sure.
Well, I'd just also like to add for you that even though you've been training really intensively with me since August, September last year, you've also, well, because you're my son, you've grown up around me doing this technical analysis, and you're familiar with the jargon. It's not totally new to you. So I think it's not a huge thing, but I do think it does help.
Right.
And I've got Jack on a pretty heavy dose of technical analysis textbooks, which he's working through. I think you're on Edwards and McGee now.
Yeah, I just started that yesterday.
Yeah, that's a classic. It's a good one. I really like that one. It's not exactly light reading, but it's a really good textbook.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Since you're the expert on gold, as you say, you've been studying this market for, I don't know, since late 2022. So what is maybe your shorter, your medium, your longer term outlooks for gold? And do you have any alternate ideas right now?
Our main Elliott Wave count is bearish, and our main bullish Elliott Wave count also expects some bearish movement for the short and midterm. We do have an alternate that expects some slight bullish movement, though overall, even the alternate is bearish. So our main consensus is that the market is in a bear market right now.
I'll expand on that if you like. I'll show my screen.
Sure.
And just so everyone knows who's watching this, we actually do collaborate together a lot. And all of our wave count, every single thing that gets published gets double checked with Lara. And then if we need any input from the others, like, what do you think about this wave count? We'll just go ahead and ask each other, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's, for me, having done this on my own for so long, it's really good to have 2 other people to be able to ask. And I remember years ago when I started out doing this, I would every now and then open up my charts and price would have done something I didn't expect, and I would get that sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, and I'd spend ages trying to figure out what was the wave count. I almost never have that happen anymore, but it's really nice to know that if I get a bit stumped, I've got 2 other sets of eyes. So this is our main Elliott Wave count, and I've taken a lot of heat for this over the years. This count is really bearish. I haven't got the monthly chart here, but the bigger picture sees a huge expanded flat unfolding. This high here, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but this high here, labeled primary wave 2, this is cash market data, and that's a really important point. On futures charts, I think this might have made a new all-time high for gold. On cash market data, it did not, and I'm using 2 data sources to corroborate that. Bar chart, cash market data, and stock charts, cash market, or the closest equivalent they can get to cash market data. I do Elliott Wave counts on cash market data because I want to avoid futures, because their extreme leverage means that sometimes in rare circumstances they can break Elliott Wave rules. And I find that introduces an area of subjectivity, and I like to avoid that if possible. So this wave count sees a huge expanded flat unfolding. Within that flat, supercycle wave C is underway as an impulse, and within it, here's the end of 2 and the start of 3, which may only be an impulse. So we've got primary 1, primary 2. From this week back here, we've been expecting this downward movement. It's unfolding so far as expected. It's not yet showing an increase in momentum, which we are expecting, but gold does tend to start out its trend slowly, and then it will accelerate through the middle and it will explode at the end. Typical commodity behavior. Now we've got this channel around primary wave 2 breached by downward movement. You can have confidence, at least for the short term, that this upward movement that we've labeled primary 2 as a double zigzag should be over, and the next wave should be underway. So the bearish count says that this is the start of a third wave, whereas the bullish count, and I do have, this is the bullish count says that it's an expanded flat for intermediate 2. And intermediate 2 within primary 1 within cycle 5. So a new bullish cycle degree wave up. So we do have an alternate. This is an absolutely valid wave count, but the reason why I judge it to have a lower probability is it has problems in terms of Elliott wave, and I can't gloss over those problems. I won't go over all of them now. I've been over and over and over them in our videos to our subscribers, and it's repeated every day in the text article. But this wave count doesn't have as good a fit, so that's why it's an alternate. We have really specific price points beyond which we're going to get rid of one or the other, and price has essentially been consolidating for a couple of years now. It's just really been testing our patience, and we need to see a breakout of that consolidation. So for the cash market data, a new high above 2065.89 would tell us that gold is most likely still in a bull market, and we'd probably get rid of our bearish wave count then. To the downside now, a new low below 1616.14, and we would invalidate this bullish wave count and we'd be very bearish. So that's, and like I said before, because Elliott wave has absolute rules, you know exactly what price point. You don't have to wait for a close. It's a new high or low by any amount at any time frame. A fraction of a cent on a tick chart beyond those 2 price points will tell us whether we're bullish or bearish. Right now, we have 2 wave counts. I favor the bearish, but because it's so unpopular, I do tell people, if your own analysis is bullish, you feel free to ignore my bearish wave count. Tell me I'm wrong. Fine. I've given you a bullish roadmap. Use that. We give it to our members in detail, right down to the hourly chart level every day with a full analysis of that bullish wave count. So we're still providing that service for our members. I'm just telling you what my judgment is as a CMT who's been analyzing this particular market for, goodness, I think since 2010. Every day I've been doing this since 2010, at least updating my charts and doing a full analysis once a week. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, I remember when I started with y'all, I had already had 6 months of Elliott wave experience, but going back and counting the 2020s or 2020 to 2022, that choppiness there counted so much better as a bearish count instead of the bullish alternate. So I agree with you there.
Yeah. There's some very rare Elliott wave structures. There's a triangle that you have to completely ignore. That's just so obviously a triangle. I mean, there are some things going for the bullish wave count and against the bearish wave count, but on balance, the bullish wave count has more problems in terms of Elliott wave than the bearish wave count does. So one of the things I use to judge probability is how common or rare is this Elliott wave structure. And in all of my analysis, 15 years now, one of the rarest structures is a double flat. And that bullish Elliott wave count relies on a double flat. And so I have to state that because it's got such a rare structure, the probability has to be lower. I can't ignore that. So as unpopular as that bearish wave count is, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a double flat in my research when I'm looking back at all the other markets. I don't think I've recorded one yet in the other markets that I have.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I might have seen one before. They really are very rare. Double combinations, you see them a fair bit, and double zigzags really common, but double flats, rare.
So next question is, some people say that the fundamentals for gold are just too strong to keep it down currently. So what's your response to that?
Elliott Wave is mutually exclusive to fundamental analysis. Elliott Wave says that it is us as a herd, as a social species that move the markets, not the fundamentals. So if you're talking about what the governments are doing, what the Fed is doing, what China's doing, we don't take that into account. Wildly unpopular, I know. We focused on the charts and the data in front of us.
Yeah, I remember in my economics class, this last semester, I was taking macroeconomics. So we're talking about what moves the markets and what they believe moves the markets. And we were talking about, I think we were talking about inflation or something. I was like, and we got down to the nitty gritty. We had the model in front of us. I'm like, so you're telling me that what really moves inflation is people's perceptions of future inflation? And he's like, that's pretty much it. And I'm like, that sounds exactly what Elliott Wave's trying to measure, which is the social psychology of people in different stages, you know? So I just thought that was crazy that even like these PhD economists, they try to develop these models, but the models in the end are based off of basically herd mentality and what people think is going to happen.
That's interesting.
And you could say everyone and their grandma right now are probably long gold, so that might not end too well if we do break down some support levels. Then everyone will be panic selling. So that could be a case for a deep correction there. All right, so now that we've got an idea on the gold outlook right now, who do you think your analysis is best for?
I think it's day traders to swing traders or even longer term investors, because we're giving you all time frames, because Elliott Wave is fractal, and our analysis will cover weekly, daily, hourly charts every day. And then once every 1 or 2 months, we'll update monthly charts and give you that bigger picture. So it depends on your time frame. We're giving you all.
So if someone's looking to profit from our analysis, what might be a way someone could profit moving forward?
Trading CFD is probably the most obvious choice, because the wave count uses cash market data, and that should correlate really well to CFD data. Trading futures as well, but you have to understand that the futures market will have a slightly different Elliott Wave count. It'll be same, different to our cash market account, but you have to allow for higher volatility than our cash market data has.
Yeah, for me, I actually, when I'm trading and I'm looking at the futures, they make higher spikes and lower spikes in each direction. So I actually have to go to the cash market to see if that invalidation was actually hit, because they're two totally different numbers. So interesting there. All right, so understand we'll be launching the new gold analysis next week, and a special rate will be offered. Can you tell us about that a little bit, Jack?
Yeah, so the special rate, you sign up to a mailing list and you are notified when it launches. You can get a grandfather rate if you sign up, which will be exclusively available for the first 48 hours. And we did the same thing when we launched the S&P membership for Pure Elliott Wave, and we still have members from when that was launched in 2021 on that same grandfather rate.
We still actually have people, I think the S&P, we launched that in 2008, actually. I have people still with us over a decade who are still on a grandfather rate, a ridiculously low grandfather rate, and they've kept that up for a decade and they're still getting it for that rate. So it stays the same as long as your subscription remains active. You'll only ever pay that low rate. So it's a really good deal.
Yeah, that's a really good rate. When I saw the rate we launched for the euro, I was like, dang, you could make up for that rate in like a quarter of a trade if you get one good trade out of our analysis. It's crazy. But so it's really cool. All right, well, that is all the questions I had for you guys, my fellow Pure Elliott Wave analysts. So we'll be posting this interview to our YouTube. Hopefully the audience gets a little bit more clarity on how we view the markets. We really try to be unbiased in these. We try to rely on the Elliott Wave, the technicals, and then let those speak for themselves and let them give us the clear levels we need for those bullish or bearish movements. So that is all from us here. Hope everyone has a good week, and remember to click on the link below if you'd like to sign up for our gold analysis and that grandfather rate.